I'm Steven Simmons. I'm a forestry major and I'm from West Virginia.
I'm Bob Taylor. I'm an environmental science major and I'm from Ohio.
I'm Nathan Spencer. I'm an environmental major with natural resource management as well, and I'm from West Virginia. And we are doing Ailanthus altissima, the tree of heaven. It's known by It's known by a lot of different names given the region that it's at, but it's native to northeast and central China as well as Taiwan, just like a lot of other invasive species that we've done this semester. And I noted up here it's also known as the ghetto palm, the stinking tree, and the tree of hell because of the pungent smell that the male flower produces when it's reproducing. They're found strictly in temperate climates, not really in tropical climates. They don't do as well there, but they thrive here. Any kind of soil condition, any kind of environment. They're really, really aggressive growers. And they were brought from China to Europe and then to the United States in 1784. And they were brought here mainly because a lot of people like the looks of them. They like how fast they grow. They like the privacy of them. They like all the different insects and like butterflies that strive to be around that tree because they get a lot of stuff from it. A lot of their micro and macronutrients. But Chinese ring, I put it up here because it's a lot of how all these species were transplanted and taken, and all kinds of things are derived from China because people wanted it and they liked the different culture and the perspective of life in the different region. The physical attributes, the tree can grow as high as 50 to 90 feet. 90 feet's a really big tree. But they only live to be about 40 years. It's a really short-lived tree. They don't grow too long. I don't know the real reason because I couldn't find it of why they die out, but they only live like a percentage of other trees. It has compound leaves, and there's usually 10 to 40 leaflets on each rachis, and they have a very dense canopy. It's very hard for any tree or any shrub to grow without the full sunlight reaching it. So this is very invasive because it causes so much shading in the under canopies. The flowers, when they bloom, they're yellow, green, red, orange, and they consist of a flower with 5 petals off of it and other parts of the flower, but they're usually yellow or reddish in color. This is a picture looking up at it. You can see how much leaf area is there. There's just really not a great chance for anything to survive underneath of it, as well as it is allopathic, and it releases a chemical called elathone, I said that right, into the soil that stops germination from other plants, so they can't reproduce as well. That's just how thick the branches were. Those are the flowers. That's a male one. The male usually has about 5 times the amount of flowers than the female. And here's that 5-petaled flower for the male and female. Yeah, all kinds of Lepiderma. I love this stuff. All kinds of moths and butterflies, any kind of insect that has metamorphosis. One great thing that I'd like to mention before we get into the negatives is the positives about this tree. And it has all kinds of medicinal properties in its bark and its leaves and all kinds of stuff. You can grind it down to make paste to revive your hair follicles. You can use it for boils and itches and all kinds of things. And it's actually adopted into Chinese medicine as a recognized medicine. And I put where I got that from, Wikipedia. And the impacts of this tree, of course, are killing biodiversity by stunning the growth of all the producers in an environment. But they also damage pavements and sewers and all kinds of stuff in your rural areas where utilities are really dense. And if you don't have some kind of extermination of this plant, it can cause a lot of damage to the underground utilities and even power lines. And I said it was a rapid grower, and it grows 3 to 6.6 feet per year in its early development. It tapers off at the end of it, but it still grows very fast comparatively to other tree species. And as I said, it shades out the native plants, preventing photosynthesis. And that's a picture of what it can do if it's left untamed. In this picture, it was obviously left for a couple years. This is probably 10 to 15 years. But it just shows that if you don't do something, like you imagine all the gas lines and stuff that are running through here, all the water lines, and if you have a rupture like that in a city that's densely populated, it could cause a lot of problems and a lot of money. That's another foliage picture of it clouding out a whole bunch of power lines. Again, one branch breaks, it pulls down the power line, nobody has power. And it's Bob's turn.
Alright, so the comparative analysis between our species, Tree of Heaven, and the Malaysia species. The Tree of Heaven is native to China. The Malaysia species is native to Florida, Texas, Mexico, and the Caribbean. The Tree of Heaven grows rather taller than the Chromolena odorata. And then the Tree of Heaven has a powerful root system, which causes a lot of the impacts it does against the pavement, building foundations, and then agricultural fields. And then the Malaysia species, it affects cultivated land, abandoned fields, forest clearings, wasteland, trails, fence rows, roadsides, and forest margins. And then both are easily spread by wind, and they are both fast growing and used as treatment, as he said earlier.
They use this treatment in highly pollutant soils because they store a lot of pollutants and have a way to process it where other plants don't. And it helps add vegetation and stuff like that to the environment for a good foundation for other species to come. Where do you go next? One second. All right, I'll try. Just gonna click it. Got it. All right, Steve.
I guess it was the controls for the Tree of Heaven. I guess the Tree of Heaven is, it's not hard that it's hard to get rid of. It's just, it's a pest because it's so invasive, it grows so fast. It reproduces from seed and root sprouts. The herbicide I have listed there is an oil-based herbicide, and it was supposed to be able to kill 90% of the trees with the first application. It worked by killing the saplings and the small root sprouts, and then the larger trees, it would just yellow the leaves. The best way is just a mechanical control is to just dig them up or pull them out, and then for any of the larger trees, you can just cut a ring around like the base of the tree, and just girdle the tree, and it'll keep it from reseeding. And there's no biological control, no insects that will eat this tree. So.
Something else I'd like to add into that, it has the ability to do root shoots, and out in its root system as it branches out through its finer roots, it has the ability to grow other plants, whole new plants from the roots 10 to 15 feet away, and it can actually cause another patch of that species in that area. This is our diagram for our concept map. Our land use autism here, and what it does to the soil, introducing the allopathic chemicals and stuff, and how that affects all the floral on the floor, and how it stops germination, and how that can hinder how much food it provides to the fauna, and insects provide micronutrients for both. Floral provides nutrients for the insects, and insects both have a niche and a resource off of Phalanthus altissima. I didn't really go into depth on this because concept maps, we've all seen a lot of them. I think that's it. Yeah. Any questions?